Yo, everyone. How you doing? This is Reyes Ramirez with Fresh Arts, and you're tuning into the Resource Roundup with me, Reyes. I know it's only been about like 2 weeks since we've done this, but it's felt like forever. Things happened, to keep it simple and short. Um, but we move forward. And so this episode is going to be full of a bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna try to keep it as concise, but give you as much useful information as I can. But real quick, again, Fresh Arts. We are a nonprofit arts organization based primarily out of Houston, Texas, but through our online channels such as this one, the reach is much farther. And so if you're tuning in from any part of Texas, you're going to find some of this information really useful. If you're tuning outside of Texas, hopefully you'll still glean some good information because a lot of these grants and opportunities still apply to you. So, and if you have been here before, welcome back. And we're going to find different ways for you to get involved. And we're going to see and play with different things, but you're always going to get the usual, hopefully very helpful information that you hopefully come here to enjoy. So I'm going to get right to it in terms of deadlines that are coming up. And what I think about them, and hopefully they'll help you out. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get right to it. All right. So hopefully you'll see my screen, and there it is. So the first opportunity I want to talk about is the Carver Museum, Austin, Texas, Small Black Museum Residency Project. Our neighbors over in Austin, Texas, have this really, really great opportunity. This primarily focuses on support. It's a residency program that primarily supports and promotes established and emerging artists of African descent who are largely underrepresented in institutions. And so what this does, it gives you, if you get it, you're going to get an artist honorarium of $900 per month. You're going to get a materials budget of $1,000 for the residency period. You're going to get monthly reviews and a lot of great stuff. The eligibility is key, right? So visual artists at least 18 years of age who live in the state of Texas, and all mediums within the visual art spectrum are accepted. And so again, even though it's based in Austin, Texas, you just have to live in the state of Texas. So Houstonians, El Pasoans, what have you, give it a shot. And so the evaluation criteria, again, is people of African descent who identify as women, immigrants, people living with disabilities, and members of the LGBTQIA plus community. And at least one residency placement will be reserved for an artist living in Houston. So keep that in mind. I mentioned that because there are some limited spots. And so just keep that in mind when you're applying for some of these opportunities, is that some people might not say that, right? Of we're going to reserve some spots for this particular type of applicant. And so if you don't get it, again, never take it personally. There's just stuff behind the curtain that maybe you don't see, but I'm glad that they made that known, that they're going to reserve a spot for some people living in Austin. So that is due very shortly tomorrow. So get on it. Up next, we have Sin Muros, a Latinx theater festival, open auditions. So Stages Repertoire Theater, they have a yearly annual theater festival based on Latinx theater, and they're having open auditions for their plays that they're doing for this festival. But the cool thing is they're accepting video submissions. So if you have a video audition tape or anything like that, you can send over. Take advantage of this. I think that's a really cool way to stay safe, but also still support artists and actors. You give them that spotlight, but be safe. And so check this out, actors. Submissions will be accepted until this Sunday, January 24th. And here are the details. Up next, we have something for the parents. I try to find as many as I can that apply to as many different communities as possible, particularly underserved communities. And I think, like parents, artists who are parents certainly falls within that category. And so this is for writers, for the literary arts. And so, yeah, Martha's Vineyard has an Institute of Creative Writing, which is not surprising, but still, I'm like, wow, that's I didn't think that. But here they have a fellowship particularly for parents. So if you're a parent, you want some support, you get a $1,700 fellowship value, and then you get 500. You get a full package to attend their retreat for parents, and it is for open to anyone who has a child age 16 or younger living with them. So you'll get a full retreat package, tuition, which covers tuition and lodging. And then also, I also included this because the conference could be virtual. So I think that's a really cool caveat of like, if it happens to be virtual, you still get that cool value. So that is due Monday, January 25th. Up next, we have the National Association of Latino Arts and Cultures, Actos de Confianza relief grants. This is due pretty soon, Wednesday, January 27th, but these are relief grants for Latinx artists and cultural workers and Latinx arts organizations facing critical financial emergencies due to the impact of COVID-19. It's pretty good chunks of money, $2,500 for artists and cultural workers, and $5,000 for arts organizations. And this is also key because this is Cycle 1 Mid-America, so Texas falls within that. So keep in mind that, yeah, you are competing with these different states and kind of regions, but for this cycle and round, it's for Mid-America, and Texas falls within that purview. So if you qualify, absolutely check it out. It is for really any discipline. So apply. It is free to apply. Up next, our friends over at DanceSource, they have their groundwork grant application. What this does is provides operating support to nonprofit dance organizations and fiscally sponsored projects based in the greater Houston region. They will award a total of $90,000, which is a total of 18 awards at $5,000 each. So it's, again, if you are a dance organization based in the greater Houston region, so Austin County, Brazoria, Chambers, all the surrounding counties qualify as well. And so you can click on this opportunity to see what exactly they're looking for. It is free to apply, and it is due Wednesday, January 27th. Speaking of which, again, if you fiscally sponsored projects, we have a fiscal sponsorship program you should definitely check out. If you don't know, now you know. And that qualifies you. And the reason why people seek that is because they will get access to grants like this. Up next, we have the University of Houston Recovering the U.S. Hispanic Heritage Program, U.S. Latino Digital Humanities Call for Proposals. This is a project grant for up to $7,500 for investigative work. And it's academics, librarians, advanced graduate students, and independent scholars. The key one being independent scholars if you're an artist. So you don't necessarily need to be, a historian or anything like that. It's as long as you are working in the identification and location recovery of any wide variety of historical documents, blah, blah, blah. The emphasis is on works by Mexican / Chicano, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Spanish, Central and South American kind of literature, especially highlighting U.S. Latina voices. Again, as long as the focus is on that, it doesn't say you particularly have to be of Latinx descent to apply. So just keep that in mind. But that is for $7,500. And that is due Friday, January 29th. Up next, we have the Diverse Representation, which is a program organization, and they have a program called the Black Entertainment Executives Pipeline. But this is due January 31st. This is more of a skill building kind of networking opportunity, particularly for people who are within the entertainment industry. It says experience in the entertainment industry, which is preferred but not required, and kind of more film and television people, so African American artists or those involved in and those involved in film and television landscape. If you're looking for a way in, if you're looking for some skill building opportunities and networking, absolutely check this out. This is due Sunday, January 31st. And also, sorry, just want to say, yeah, our program, it's going to be 100% virtual, which you can be anywhere in the United States and apply. Up next, we have the Catastrophic Theater. They are hiring for a managing director. So I put ASAP. So this says closing on January 31st, just to give it a deadline. But really, you should apply if you're interested. Apply as soon as you can, just because who knows when they fill these sorts of positions. So if you're seeing this and you're interested, do it ASAP. But this is for the managing director. The salary is $53,000 and includes health insurance. And Catastrophic Theater is, as the name implies, it is a theater organization. Then we have the Barbara Deming Memorial Fund. This is closing on January 31st. So this is a small support grant from $500 to $1,500 to individual feminist women in the arts, based in the United States or Canada. So if you're from Canada, here you are. This one, it's a pretty straightforward application, which I appreciate that. And it accepts submissions from literary artists, mixed genre artists with graphic and visual art with text, visual art. So it's a pretty good spectrum of what they'll accept. It does have a fee of $25, but I think the reward of $1,500 could be worth that for you. So check this out if you qualify. This is due Sunday, January 31st, the end of the month. And now we have the U.S. Department of Arts and Culture. They have two positions open. The first one being the co-director for the U.S. DAC. This is for a position that is, you're kind of helping even build the organization. It seems like they're still kind of like defining what the organization does. So like, yes, this person should be excited about the opportunity to support in the development of organizational processes, capacity, and strategy. So it seems like it's a position that's just starting up, and it's going to be able to define itself. So if you're interested in kind of defining a position with the U.S. Department of Arts and Culture, this is for you. The salary, the contract would be about $39,000 to $46,800. And depending on the agreed upon scope. So there seems to be some flexibility in that. And the second position they have open is the Honor Native Land Project Partner. This seems to be more of like a project based, and it begins in February, and it begins with a 12-month contract that would be for the amount of $13,000 to $15,500. So this is for a specific project to orient a pledge to orient toward Native sovereignty. So it deals with that community. So just keep that in mind. It says January 31st, but again, once you see this and you're interested, apply as soon as you can. They may close it. They might find someone even as we speak. So apply now. Up next, we have a really interesting program. I included this just kind of like how interesting it is. It's for literary artists, writers, but the interesting thing about the Dove Paisano Fellowship Program, it's sponsored by the University of Texas at Austin and the Texas Institute of Letters. But the thing is that you're essentially going to get to live on a 250-acre ranch about 20 minutes of Austin. And I think it's really interesting, and that you have to like provide a statement saying that you can live under those conditions, because then when it says a 250-acre ranch, they mean it. Like they even say that you're going to get a cabin in this kind of like deserty area, and whether or not you can handle that. So I think that's just an interesting thing to check out. So you just have to be a native Texan, or have resided in Texas at least 3 years, or have published significant work with a Texas subject. So the grant is actually, or the amount of money is actually really good. So from January 7th through April 30th, 2022, $4,500 a month, $18,000 total. I mean, if someone told me I'll pay $18,000 to live on a ranch, I'm going to do it. So just check this one out. Up next, we have University of Houston Downtown. They are hiring for an assistant professor in creative writing. You just need an MFA or PhD, and some experience in publishing. You don't need necessarily a book. So I thought that was interesting. And you're essentially going to work with UHD and advise their undergraduate literary magazine, get to work with students. And it's a pretty decent teaching load. So check this one out if you're interested in entering the academic sphere, but kind of more of an entry level. That is due Monday, February 1st. Up next, we have the Wave Farm Artist Residency Program. This is a really interesting opportunity just because it is for the radio arts. I don't know what exactly that is, which is why I included it. So I may not know what it is, but you may know what it is. And so I hope it benefits you in that way. But it is a really, really interesting residency in that they're going to give you a space to essentially work on, like, I don't know if it's like a podcast or a radio art performance. They say to not, in reading through the rules, it says that they're not going to really prioritize people who happen to use radio as a medium. It's people who specifically do radio art, right? A call for projects that conceptually and formally use radio as an artistic medium, right? And so since it's such a kind of, like, I wouldn't say experimental, but it's such a new thing for me, at least. I would imagine cinema, literary artists, musicians, and theater, people who can use the medium of radio to manipulate that medium. And another cool thing is you get access to all this equipment. I don't know what any of this is, but imagine if you're about it, you're gonna know how to use all this amazing or awesome equipment. So check this out if you do radio art. I don't know what it is, but if you know it, maybe you can explain it to me someday. You're going to get $700 and a place to essentially stay for a while to work on that. So I think that's really cool. And this is due Monday, February 1st. Up next, we have the Black Box Press Foundation Art as Activism Fund. This is essentially it's a grant for the amount of, where is that, $5,000. So it's a pretty good chunk of change for artists in the cinema arts, crafting arts, dance, and visual arts. So the visual realm, to essentially the purpose of the grant is to bring focus to how art can be used as a captivating means of shifting perspectives, changing mindsets, and evoking powerful emotions that pushes forward discourse on social justice. So check this out if you think you qualify. There is a $25 application fee, but it is a fairly simple application. This is due February 1st at 11:59 p.m. So again, it is $5,000. So, and it's unrestricted, which means you can use it for anything. You can use it to pay your rent, use it to buy supplies, pay yourself, whatever you want. And it has a pretty quick turnaround time, and they'll let you know essentially within a month, which is pretty rare. Up next, we have more neighbors offering more opportunities. This is the city of Galveston. They're doing some public art grants to do a public art project with a budget of $5,000 or less. So the cool thing is that there is no residency restrictions. So you can be in Houston, you can be in the surrounding areas of Galveston or Texas, but they are encouraging City of Galveston residents to apply. But again, you don't have to be in Galveston to apply. to receive. I mean, yeah, you don't have to be in Galveston to apply for this. So it has a pretty broad definition of what they mean by public art. So I'd look into this opportunity to kind of see more closely how they define what they want for the projects. So this is due Monday, February 1st. Up next, we have the Highlander Center We Shall Overcome Fund. The purpose of this is to nurture grassroots efforts within African American communities to use art and activism against injustice, and supports organizing in the South. We're in the South, so it's a good thing we qualify for this fund. It's going to support projects, so in its performance projects, visual arts projects, workshops, conferences, preservation of documents. It's a really broad spectrum of what this funds. And it is, again, for projects that use arts, culture, and community activism to organize for social, economic, and political justice to the benefit of African American communities. And that is for $2,000, up to $2,000 rather. And you can be a cultural activist, educator, organizer, or an organization. So that's $2,000 on the table. This is due Monday, February 1st. It is free to apply. And then we have Surf Plus. They have a COVID-19 relief grant specifically for craft artists. So they have a pretty strict definition of craft. So if you identify as a craft artist, absolutely check this out. This is just for you. This is due February 3rd, Wednesday. It is for $1,000 for artists working in craft disciplines who are in dire circumstances due to food, housing, or medical insecurities as a result of the pandemic. So again, this is very, very catered for craft artists. So check it out. And then the final opportunity I'm going to be talking about is Creative Capital 2022. This is March 1st, which seems like a long time from now. But the reason why I'm mentioning this now is because this is the hard mode of grant applications for individual artists. I applied last year and I got to the second round. But again, it is like and I say that because it's like when I say hard mode, it's because this is a very particular application that asks very specific questions that you have to answer, and they're short bursts from 100 words to 250 words per question. And I think it's like almost 10 questions. So it's difficult in its own right, but the payoff is $50,000 in direct funding plus additional career development services. This is kind of one of those, if you get it, it makes your career, essentially. So it's a difficult application, but again, once you get it, you're pretty set. They're going to hook you up with so many things. And so again, if you're thinking about this is one of those applications that you start now, like a month and a half in advance at least. Because the questions just take a lot of thought and revision to get through. But again, the payoff is very, very huge. So now that you're hearing about it, do it now. Start now as soon as you can. You can go through that revision process because this is not one you can do like the day before. So check this out if you want that $50,000. And so I'm going to go ahead and segue into their next segment. So this afternoon, actually, at 4 p.m., we're going to have a workshop, and I'm going to let the person who's going to be directing the workshop speak for themselves and speak upon the workshop. It's going to be we love Epi Chad over at Art League Houston. She is really amazing, just an amazing teacher, which is why we're always glad to have her whenever we can. So I'm going to let her speak to the workshop herself. So Angela, please, whenever you're ready to play the teaser.
Hey, Happy New Year's. My name is Epi Chad. I'm a Houston-based multidisciplinary artist, naturalist, and advocate. In my practice, I use textiles, fibers, metals, places, and people to tell stories. Anyone who knows me also knows that I am an avid maker of lists and plans. This time of year, a lot of us are thinking about our New Year's resolutions. What better way to kick off 2021 than joining me for a goal setting workshop with Fresh Arts? In the workshop, we'll cover intentional goal setting. We'll talk about strategies for tracking your success, and we will walk through the Fresh Arts goal setting toolkit. We'll also talk a little about the magic of writing things down. It's so simple, but it's so effective. So grab your favorite notebook and join me for a Fresh Arts goal setting workshop on Thursday, January 21st at 4 p.m. The workshop will be live streamed and will be followed up with a Fresh Arts Peer Lab on January 28th. Look forward to seeing you.
And so there you have it. Again, just a really great workshop. If you've never done it before, it's a really liberating. If you have done it before, you're always going to get something new with each iteration of this workshop. And so we're always happy to feature it whenever we can. And it's kind of part of our Fresh Arts, Fresh Start kind of campaign, where it is important to lay out your goals. And so today, 4 p.m., it's free. Be there or be square. Next week, we have the peer lab that is in conjunction with it that's going to be built upon. It's going to build upon it. So that one is a registration fee of $5, which is incredibly minimal for that information you're going to get. So definitely check out these two Fresh Arts opportunities that we're hosting. So register for free today at 4 p.m. And then finally, the next segment is part of, again, our Fresh Arts, Fresh Start campaign, but also just in general, we love our artists. We love the Houston artists, obviously. And so we always want to give them a shout out and support them in any way we can. And so what we're going to do is I will kind of want to do success stories. Those are incredibly important to I think the morale and also to kind of encourage people. So I just want to give a quick shout out to these artists that we've had really cool relations with in some capacity, but we want to give them a shout out and give them a congratulations for their work. So the first person is Amanda Wenger, who was just in the last class of Artist Inc. She was chosen as a 2021 Forge Fellow, which is a very cool and prestigious artist development, career development workshop fellowship. And so congratulations, Amanda. And here she is, in case if you don't know her, she's right there. So really proud of you. Up next, we have the Dots Between Fellowship. This is a really, really new program. It just launched, and they just chose their fellows. And so we have two shout outs. The first is Deborah Deep Mouton. She was featured on our podcast, where she gives some really great insight on the MFA program process, or rather how she didn't need it. So she did not get an MFA. However, she's still incredibly talented and successful, and this is just another kind of feather in her cap. So congratulations, Deborah Deep Mouton, for receiving the Dots Between Fellowship, and our very own, where are you at? Julia Barbosa Landois, who is our grants manager. She also received this fellowship. So what this fellowship is again, another professional development fellowship, but specifically focuses on financial aspects of being an artist. So you're going to focus more on the finance aspects, which I think is really cool. And so she also received this fellowship. So congratulations, Julia and Deborah. Really, really talented list of artists. So I'm excited to see how this plays out. And then next we have Royal Sumikat, another recent graduate. She's right here. Another recent graduate of the Artist Inc. program, but also we're a fan of her murals. And so in the Arts District, you can see two of her murals because she's just incredibly talented. And so it was really great to learn with her in Artist Inc. And so she has some work up over at Asia Society, Texas. And they also have an artist talk with her that you can go through their website to access. But congratulations, Royal. Her stuff is going to be up until January 24th. And then finally, we want to highlight Rachel Gonzalez, who is another Artist Inc. graduate from last year. She has a site-specific installation at Rice for the Chow Center for Asian Studies, and she is doing this Saturday an artist talk for that project. So definitely check out this event. Definitely check out Rachel's work. We're a fan. So congratulations again. All right, and so there you have it. Again, we just want to give, again, success shout-outs to our talented artists. If you're an artist and you have any form of success, let us know. Let me know. My email is reyes@fresharts.org. Right there. Email me. Let me know of your success, especially if it's tied to anything that we've done. Even if you just saw an opportunity here on the Resource Roundup or on the Opportunity Board, let me know, and I will gladly sing with your praises. We need good news. Especially considering what the artist community is going through. So please let us know of the happy results that you have with your work, and we'll gladly tell the entire community for you. So thanks again. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a bit of a longer episode, but hopefully full of, again, good information to help you get a fresh start on your year. Again, check out our Artist Opportunity Board, sign up for our newsletters, check out the workshop this afternoon and the Peer Lab next week. Until next time, I'll see you. Stay safe, stay well. See you later, Houston.